Hello everyone and welcome to Blogger and Everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome to yet another disappointing result on the road for FC Barcelona. Unsurprisingly at Balaidos, this time around a 2-2 draw from Barca, but honestly really just up there with Barcelona's Balaidos photo jobs. I mean, the last time that we had this level, disastrous result was back in the 21-22 season when we had Sergi Barjuan in the dugout and Barcelona just coughed up a 3-0 lead, which, Barca were 3-0 up at halftime to draw 3-3 with Celta. Now, it wasn't as much of a dominant performance from Barca whereby, you did get 3-0 up, though they did have the opportunity to go 3-0 up. Raphinha with a shot that did just come off of the post and somehow stayed out of the net. But aside from all of that, I think just a continuation of the last performance we saw from Barca. Really, really poor from Barca, honestly speaking. Players looked tired, I don't know, jet lagged maybe, but for sure they were not 100% there. And, the press, and particularly in that second half, I think it was basically gone by the 70th minute. Barca were no longer pressing the way that they were. And of course, that meant that Celta Vigo had more time on the ball and had more time to try and hurt Barca. And eventually that's what they did. 2 quick goals, in the last 10 minutes. And that's basically all she wrote for Barca here. Of course, the red card from Casado is probably the most damaging moment here from Barca. I mean, sure, that moment of just what the heck is going on by Jules Koundé, where he basically gifted the ball to the Celta attacker in his own box and, left Iñaki Peña with honestly nothing that he could do. But this, for Hansi Flick, it's not going to do much for the current Yamal dependencia, allegations that are coming around, because obviously people are going to point to the fact that Lamine Yamal was not there and that's why Barca once again failed to win. But more crucially, I think we need to look at what else Barcelona weren't doing aside from, Lamine Yamal's presence just not being there. And also, you do have to factor in Gerard Martin being on the pitch. I do not know why, first of all, Hansi Flick keeps on giving Gerard Martin opportunities. I mean, Alejandro Balde clearly was not fit, that's why he didn't come on here. But if it's anything other than that, really, he still shouldn't be on the pitch. I'd rather have Hector Fort. We saw him come on as a sub, and he did way better. Gerard Martin just seemed determined to get himself sent off, and really, Barcelona should have gone down to 10 men much earlier than they did. It should have happened in the first half. I think we can all admit that. Gerard Martin was a lucky guy not to get sent off, and it's no wonder Hansi Flick immediately hooked him off at the break. But, post the break, there's just not that much Barcelona did. They did eventually get a goal, of course, through Robert Lewandowski to make it 2-0, but that had more to do with luck, really, than moments of genius or brilliance from Barca. And there were some uncharacteristic errors by Celta de Vigo, which led to both of the goals Barcelona scored. So the kind of errors you don't expect to see happening again. But I would look at a lot of what was happening here, I think, admitting the fact that Celta probably deserved to have won this match. And, Celta haven't been too bad of a team this season compared to last, right? I mean, we saw them here as well against Real Madrid. Real Madrid, of course, did win that match, but I think you find a lot of people who would admit that Celta arguably should have won that game. But anyway, regardless of all of that, what it means for La Liga now is that if Real Madrid win, they're within 3 points of Barca, and they still have that game in hand. So Barcelona's advantage after that brilliant start they've had is basically evaporated in just 2 bad performances, and that's how quickly things can change when you're looking at a league campaign. So I think Flick has a lot to think about. Now, obviously, owing to that brilliant start and owing to a lot of good work that, Barca's players and, Hansi Flick himself have been doing, this team still has a bit of credit left in the bank, or I would say before this match, they still had some credit left in the bank Right now, I think they've just about exhausted their credit because, without a doubt, now this game against Brest becomes a must win, and I don't really know if that's such a good thing for Barca because I honestly think Brest is going to be an even tougher match for Barca than Celta Vigo was. Now, obviously, somebody would say, well, Lamine Yamal went back, and yeah, sure, that's the case, but I think we need to give a lot more respect to Brest. They are seated as high as they are in the Champions League table for a reason, and unlike Celta, who really did play it quite loose with Barca defensively, Brest are not going to do that. They won't give much to Barca, but they will try and hit Barcelona on the break. And with really Sociedad and Celta de Vigo here giving teams the blueprint on how to beat Barcelona's offside trap, I think Brest would be foolish not to take advantage of that. So just strap in, Kool-Aids, okay? Things might get a bit tricky yet still. And the biggest downer, I think, from all of this is the fact that I had been starting to trust this team again, starting to believe that they can actually turn the corner. But, we've seen these two performances away at Balaidos, away at Anoeta, and you just wonder if this team can actually stand, a venue like Anfield, if they should go there. Can they come from that venue without embarrassing themselves? And right now, I think maybe the answer to that question is still no, they cannot. And it's understandable. We didn't expect that this team would suddenly become a world-beating team just by bringing in Hansi Flick. And though that looks to have been the case, we're seeing now here that it's still far from it because there are still some frailties, particularly that lack of depth is really going to hurt this team because we've seen what happens when starters get exhausted and they just can't give for 90 minutes what we've been seeing them do. It's that they're going to give up those silly goals like we saw here late on. Anywho, I kind of just strayed from my typical match review format here, and I guess had quite a bit to get off my chest just because of how disappointing that performance was. On the bright side, some of the silver linings, I did like a lot of what I saw from Iñaki Peña, yes, and also from Gavi, of course. He looks to be getting close to being ready to be a regular starter again, which Barcelona needs. Hopefully, Frenkie de Jong can step up as well, and especially with the suspension that's going to come for Casado, you hope that Frenkie de Jong can at least get, somewhere close to the levels we expect from him, just so that we won't miss Casado so much. But aside from that, I think let me know your thoughts on what you saw and how you feel for the rest of Barca's season and how it's unfolding, Do you think Barca can hold their nerve and hold on to that top spot, or are we going to see a renaissance from Madrid and Barca just continue to stumble and eventually lose top spot? Anywho, you let me know what you think, but aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. To have a great day, and Forza Barca.